I firmly believe that one should make more money from investing than from 40 years of working. That's a huge statement. I'll prove it with a little bit of maths and then we'll discuss the key factors, how you can also make more money from your investments than from your job. Let's start with simple maths. If your yearly income is $120, which means $10 per month, and you invest $1 per month at a 10% return, and do that for 40 years, you go to the investor compound interest calculator to determine how much money you can grow using the power of compound interest. So let's start month 1, $1, monthly contribution, $1, length of time in years 40, estimated interest rate 10%, and just to show you how it can go up, 5% interest rate variance, calculate there, and here are the results. In 40 years you will have $5,356 at a 10% return. At a 15% return, that should be 4 times higher at $21,000. So 5,000, 21,000 possibly if you invest really well, and both numbers are higher than the total job income of 4,800 over 40 years. And now, if you invest the money you have earned over 40 years of investing at just 3%, then the income there from the dividend or treasury bond yield is 160 in the low case scenario and 723 in the higher case scenario. Keep in mind your pay is 120. Of course, this is just a mathematical simple example. There is inflation, you will be promoted, your salary will increase. So over time, maybe also you will have more money in the later part of the period. That skews the calculations. But the goal here is to show the power of investing and compounding. And here is just a quick summary. 5 times your working income, equal your working income. And even if you just get to 5% per year, you're still getting somewhere, slowly but steadily. On top of that, in life, usually we have here and there some windfalls. We get some stock options, we sell some business, we sell some real estate, win the lottery, get a high-paying job for some period of time, make a lot of money here or there, something happens, inheritance, I don't know what, but usually what I see when people get such a large sum of money, they have no idea what to do with it and it ends ugly. However, if you invest on a monthly basis, then you also know what to do with that money, how to invest it intelligently and therefore compound even faster. Now, you might feel like this diver here reaching for air, asking what are the caveats, what are the key factors, and how to make more money from investing than from your job. Let's discuss the key factors. You have to invest 10% of income. You have to get to 10% of higher returns. All possible, but there are always situations there. You have to do it for 40 years, there are taxes, and then there is always life. But let's start with saving 10% of your income. To some it might sound impossible, to some a little bit less, some are doing even more than that, but perhaps the best way is just to increase your income by 10, or if you want to add taxes, 20%, and just share this with your boss, where I, Sven Karlin, say, Mr. Boss or Miss Boss, please increase the salary for 20% so that we can compound wealth over the long term and you'll have a much happier employee. Because it's a great investment. If you work for 40 years, your output in this case is 4,800. And all you need to do is just invest 4 years of your 40 years of work to make much more than that. So increase your income, show this video to your boss and explain that you want to increase your wealth 4x, and that will be possible if your salary increases 20%, and you say I will give 20% more input, more productivity because I will be happier. Everyone wins and you get 4 or 5 times more income, thus also wealth over time. If your boss has any questions or you have any questions, just drop me an email at investwithsven@gmail.com. Now that we have solved the boss situation, the rest is 10 or 15% returns from investing. Somebody would say, well, stocks give 10% on average, so that should be it. Just invest in the stock market and that's it. Well, if you look at the stock market, I started investing here, so I started investing in a decade of zero returns. Then it was followed by the boom that we have been enjoying for the last 15 years, but it is likely that from now on, for the next 10 or even 20 years, we will be again looking at this zero. That is because if we look at price to earnings ratio, what I'm paying in price for the earnings I'm getting, and you can see here this was the dot-com bubble, the 1960s Nifty 50 bubble, the roaring 20s bubble, and this is the now AI bubble. Each time after these bubbles, for the next 10 years, returns have been actually on the negative side of things, and it is also likely that from now on we'll also see negative returns going forward. The answer, as we have discussed in many videos, is value investing, which is a long-term process, but then again we have 40 years to do it, no? And if you want to learn more about value investing, you have here Value Investing with Sven, a free value investing course. Now we'll add here why value investing, goals, and that will also include this video also in written form. And then you can see about investing, stocks, how to start investing, are you a value investor, the economy, asset classes, the investing mindset that is key, how to value stocks. You have here the key discussion on how to calculate intrinsic value with free templates. So feel free to join here and over time learn how to invest. It's completely free. The key is to start and you will see your money and knowledge compound. Maybe the first few years you will not make a cent, but you will gain the knowledge that later in the years, when you have much more money, you know exactly what to do. So start and the compounding will eventually come. Now, on the 40 years of investing, if you can put it on automatic, great, but there is always life that comes in between. I have moved a few times across countries over the last 15 years, but every time I went to a higher step, the portfolios are a little bit harder to manage to compound over the long term, but I plan to keep on compounding for the next 20 years and then also enjoy this. But yes, that is life. I hope you will have it a little bit more stable than me, but I was born in a communist country and seen wars and whatever, so I hope you don't share my past. You simply deal with your things in life. I have seen this crash, I have seen panics here, upside, and moving again, and over time I have done really well. Unfortunately, I don't have a long-term compounding record, but over the last few years we have done pretty well. And then the steps: you open a brokerage account. If you haven't, you decide, you start investing on a monthly basis, no matter what, and you start learning value investing and you compound for life. And I can guarantee you that you'll make more money than from your job. On top of everything, as you start investing, your mindset shifts and you will start also seeing a different perspective on your whole financial life. What is worth, what's not worth, what's smart, what's not smart, and then life financially simply becomes easy. Subscribe and let's start the journey together.